football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust, footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Welcome in. Good morning. It is Friday the 13th. Spooky. A little bit. I'm Jeff Parles. She's Alex White. Good morning, Alex White, here on a Friday.
Good morning. It's been a very fun week. I am excited that it is Friday, though. And as always, our Friday shows are sponsored by Vegas Maddie and footballcontest.com. If you're going to enter any contest this summer for football, you want to go with the pros at footballcontest.com. Experience matters, so visit proxy.footballcontest.com and use promo code ALEX for a special offer from Maddie and, of course, his partner, Tony. We appreciate them being a sponsor for us every Friday. We will talk with Maddie later today.
Yes, on the road again for Maddie, so we'll see him later in the show. We'll see Chris Andrews as well at 10:30. We'll, of course, break down Game 4 of the NBA Finals and Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final, which we'll get that all with Chris. But, man, what a range of emotions last night. You at Edmonton Futures, as dead can be after one, and not so fast, my friend. They win an epic one in overtime, 5-4. Leon Draisaitl tied the record for most Stanley Cup playoff overtime goals in a single postseason, second of the Stanley Cup final. We'll talk that over with Chris later, because the Conn Smythe market is a disaster now. Sam Bennett's the betting favorite, even though Edmonton is the favorite to win the series now. Draisaitl's now shorter than McDavid. A total mess in that. But Alex, it just was what an absurd series this has been. 3 overtime games. The one beatdown in Game 3, Edmonton's now minus 120, but what an amazing series this has turned into on the ice.
No, it really has. One of the best that I have definitely followed, and I'm excited now. Best of 3 going back to Edmonton. Like you mentioned, Oilers, again, the favorite. So if you jumped in yesterday on that 2-1 Oilers price, you've got a nice ticket in your hand. But as you mentioned, a lot of emotions from yesterday because they down 3-0 going into the second period. Of course, they pull Skinner. It was looking like that game was over as well. But we've seen it time and time again from this Oilers team, the comebacks.
Real quick, the first time that 3 of the first 4 games of a Stanley Cup final have gone to overtime since 2013. That was a good year for Ryan McCormick. That was the second year at Game 1. That was the triple overtime game that Blackhawks won in 6. Somehow Game 6 didn't go to overtime. That was 2 goals in about 20 seconds to win the cup for 17 seconds officially, right, Ryan? There you go. See, I knew it was around 20. I got that right. But that was, of course, Blackhawks winning their second of 3 cups that they would win in that era. All right. We'll get more thoughts from Chris later. All I'll say is I'm not aggravated at myself because the way that first period went, I would have really been annoyed at myself if I had actually taken a dive on Edmonton. Totally different series now. Minus 120. There's some minus 15s out there on the Oilers. Also, Calvin Pickard more likely not more likely than not. It's Calvin Pickard's series now in net for Edmonton. Man. Skinner was benched after the first period, even though it wasn't really his fault, but that definitely did stem the tide for Edmonton. You
have to say, though, I mean, you can give Pickard all the credit for that game, but especially in overtime. I mean, he played fantastic. There were some saves
one huge
in there.
One.
Yeah. So it should be fun. I mean, it already has been. So looking forward to the next 3 games.
We'll give our picks for Game 5 later in the show. They may appear on the whiteboard. It's down to 6 on the total in Edmonton. Just throwing this out there. Only 1 Edmonton home game has gone under so far this postseason. Just keep that in mind. All right. Also, all 4 games in the series have gone over. Let's go to baseball. We'll go there. We'll get the baseball out of the way. We'll quick hitter our way through, no pun intended, because we start with Paul Skeens today at Wrigley. Cubs win yesterday. It's Horton and Skeens, your pitching matchup. We got a 6.5 at Wrigley. Boy, look, it's Skeens, who has been the best statistical pitcher in the National League this year without the wins. Wrigley, it's blowing in, and it's 65 degrees, so chilly-ish for early June on the north side. Alex, I think 6.5 is actually too low here, even with the wind blowing in. It's not like it's a 15-mile-an-hour wind in. It's 6. So it's a wind in, but it's not crazy. I know it's Skeens. I'm not going to touch it, though, because the Pirate offense is just so bad. I was trying to get a little fancy. I'm not going to there. But I would only be a bet of the over, but tread carefully. You got an awful offense in this game with Pittsburgh, even with the best offense in baseball in Chicago on the other side. Man,
I know that Skeens has pitched so well here at Wrigley, too, and Ryan might have the exact numbers, but I just think that number is crazy, minus 105. If you look at the first 5, too, you got to lay a pretty big price there, minus 145. So I'm just going to take a shot here with the Pirates and for the full game. And I know it's a little scary with their bullpen, and you also do need that offense to score some runs, but we've seen them come alive here in the last week or so. Not necessarily for Paul Skeens and his games, but I'm going to take a shot today. On the other side, though, Cade Horton, he's been relatively good. Coming off of one of his worst starts of his last 6, he did give up 4 earned runs to the Tigers, who are a very good offense as well. So I expect him to be pretty good, too. So with that 6.5, still, I'd make it more 7.5. So I do think it is a little low here.
We'll say Cubs offense, which has been the best in baseball this year, most runs scored. The last 7 games at Wrigley, they've only eclipsed 4 once. So it has been a little bit more of a struggle at home of late for the Cubs. And again, it's not like they're playing Murderers Row. It's the Rockies, the Reds, and the Pirates. So it's been a little bit backwards at home. Again, Cubs have opened up a 5.5 game lead in the NL Central. Cardinals can't get out of their own way at the current moment. And the Brew Crew just kind of there now in second place by themselves in the National League Central. All right, let's just do this one quickly. Miami and Washington. Yeah, the Nats are not actually in fourth place. They're still a half game in front of Atlanta. Marlins' second worst win total in the National League, only historically bad Colorado worse. Mitchell Parker and Cabrera, your pitching matchup. Nats minus 15. Parker's really come back to earth after the high-end April, where he was one of the better left-handed pitchers in baseball. Total 8.5 in Nats Park. Both teams coming off series losses.
So his last start was pretty good against the Rangers, but again, I've been talking about that early time in June and even late May when Texas was really struggling offensively. So I'm going to put a little bit more towards that, but did go 6 innings, just 1 earned run on 4 hits. But before that, it was either 4 or 3 earned runs given up, and he wasn't going very deep into games, 4 2/3. So I agree with you there. On the other side, I don't want to trust Cabrera either. It's pretty crazy not to just want to jump in on and over here with both of these pitchers going, but I don't trust either offense really looking at their last 7 games. I mean, the last 7 days, 187 batting average for the Nationals, and Marlins are better than that, 251 for them, but just 84 WRC plus. So nothing for me in this one. It's really tough handicap.
Yeah, staying away. 2 mediocre teams, 2 teams that will be playing out the string more likely than not, even though, again, Washington's young talent. James Wood, if you've not watched James Wood play, you're doing it wrong. Kids came over in the Soto trade, and he's going to be the probably the lone Washington National in the All-Star game next month in Atlanta. Speaking of Atlanta, the Braves, who are right now a game behind the Nats, Atlanta enters today 15 games behind the Mets in the National League East. It's just stunning that could happen to Atlanta. And yes, the Mets have the best record in baseball, but still more to do with the Braves than it does the Mets. They are gigantic favorites against Colorado at home. Rockies and blew up your bed yesterday, 3 in the bottom of the 9th to walk off the Giants in shocking fashion. Randy Rodriguez, too, gave it up. Rodriguez has been arguably the best reliever in baseball this year through the first 2+ months. It's Elder and Marquez. I mean, this is a gigantic price, Alex. But it's Colorado on the other side. We know how historically bad Colorado's been through 68 games. They're up to 13 wins now, up to 13 wins. Total 8.5. This is a steer clear. I wish that I was actually getting a little bit more with the Rockies because Marquez is just, we've talked about it. Marquez, Sanzatella, Palmquist has been the holy trinity of disaster this year in Denver.
Definitely looking at the last 3 opponent batting averages for each of these pitchers, Marquez is definitely the worst, 327. XFIP, not a terrible, 367. On the other side, Elder, been relatively good for the Braves, but I don't like his underlining numbers here. 273 last 3 opponent batting average and a 487 xFIP. I think this is an over game, especially with the Rockies actually contributing and can get some runs here for us. So I like over full game. I actually even like that over first 5 even more, which, I'm a huge first 5 under better, but I like that 4.5. I think we can definitely see 5 runs. If you look at the median numbers too, for both of these pitchers, it's 4 for Marquez and it's 3 for Bryce Elder. So that's 7. I think we'll be okay. I'm hoping we can get at least 5 here in the first 5.
Staying off of this one, again, like I said, I just wish I was getting a little bit of a better price. But Marquez, as you just outlined, as dreadful comes so far this year. We go to Milwaukee next. Cardinals and Brewers. It's Freddie Peralta against Eric Fetty. Minus 50 on the Brewers. Cardinals have really gone on hard times after taking the first 2 against the Dodgers and hitting a season high of 8 games over 500 for St. Louis. They've lost 4 in a row, and it is not, make it 5 in a row, and it's not been pretty doing that. The sweep at the hands of the Blue Jays yesterday, Mizorowski, by the way, was incredible before rolling his ankle in a fluky injury where he just caught the throw back from his catcher and then rolled his ankle going back to the bump. It was a very odd thing, but he had a no-hitter when he left. And, oh boy,
yep.
What an electric arm that kid has when he gets back from that ankle sprain. But the ace, Cardinals and just eyeballing this team, I thought them and the Giants were the 2 teams that were in that are in the National League hunt that were due for a downslide. The Giants seemingly have stopped their downslide. Cardinals are going to have to figure it out over these next 2 series because They get this one here in Milwaukee, 3 more, and then they go to the south side of Chicago and they have 3 against the White Sox. You better not let the season cream out of control in these sort of environments. I'm staying off of it today, but I would lean to the Brew Crew here with Peralta and bet against the Cardinals streak.
And I can't blame you for that at all. I don't think he should be $1.50 here at home. I love to go under. I like Fetty and Peralta enough that I think I could go under that first 5, but just how much that these offenses have seen these pitchers, that scares me off of it. On the other side, though, neither one of them really, batting that well. 209 for the Brewers in the last 77 weighted runs carry. And then on the other side with the Cardinals, like you mentioned, 240 batting average for their last 7, 89 WRC plus. So I'm just going to stay off of this one. I really couldn't find anything that I loved or felt strongly about. Kind of like my dad was saying throughout this whole week, trying to predict how these pitchers are going to pitch. I really don't know with either side here with Fetty or Peralta.
It would only be Peralta and the Brew Crew, like I said. All right, going to Diamondbacks and Padres. Kolek and Nelson. Diamondbacks starting to play better. They're back to 500. So a little bit of a turnaround, even with losing Corbin Burns for the season with Tommy John. This has been all Arizona money, from $1.18 to $1.33. Or make it $1.35, I should say, plus 20 on the Padres. So a 15-cent move here at the South Point. 9.5 to total. That is a big number in a Padre game. I know it's a different ballpark, Chase Field versus Petco, much better hitters park in Phoenix, as we know, even with the roof closed. Boy, that feels, I would go under 9.5. I know there's concerns with both of these starters, Alex, but that is a big number in a Padre game at this point.
It's pretty crazy looking at these guys and their last 5 games. So Kolek was not doing well at all, right? Giving up 5, 3, 6, and then coming off of 2 really good starts against the Giants and the Brewers there. On the flip side, Ryan Nelson, very good last 4 games until the last one where he saw the Reds and got hit up. 7 earned runs on 4 hits, just went 3 innings for them in that one. So what do we expect from both of them? I'm kind of expecting them due factor to go the other way. So I understand the money here with Arizona backing Nelson. I do think this Diamondbacks lineup is going to be able to hit Kolak. So if anything, I would be on the home team here. Maybe even a first 5 for them. Maybe laying that half a run. So run line first 5 Arizona, I think, is probably the way I would play it if I were to.
Moving along, going to the matchup of the night in L.A. The Dodgers and the Giants only separated by 1 game. This will be game number 70 for both of these teams. Hey, we're 10 days away from the midway point, amazingly enough, of this Major League Baseball season. And it is a heavy-duty matchup, Chavez Ravine tonight. It is Logan Webb, and it is Yoshi Yamamoto for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Webb, I'll just say this. The Giants have not been scoring for Logan Webb recently. And you look at the game log here for the Giants. Giants have lost 3 out of their last 4 when Webb has pitched. Last time out, they needed the walk-off homer to beat the Braves, so needed some help. Boy, this is a great price on a Logan Webb game at plus 165, Alex. I don't know if it's good enough, though, against these Dodgers. So I would love another 15 cents, get to $1.80. Can't pass it up with Webb, but can't really fault you if you take this with, again, a guy who has gotten super unlucky over the last 3.5 weeks, pitching a lot better than the results, other than that start against Kansas City, than the results have dictated.
I completely agree with that. I mean, it is very tempting on that side. I do think this is going to be a close game. 7.5, such a low total here for these 2 teams, but I still like it under. I think I'm going to just go with the first 5, though. Depend on these 2 starting pitchers. I mean, both of them can go deep into games, expecting them to go 5, 6 innings. So under first 5, I know 3.5 can be scary, but you are getting a plus price taking a shot there. So that's the bet for me. It will make the whiteboard with Webb and Yamamoto. I like to back both of these guys, so I can do it together here. Under 3.5 plus 105.
You can get plus 50 first 5 on Webb if you want to take that shot. So run line first 5. Also, you're getting the half a run at minus 05. So there are plenty of ways to play this. I actually, I think I would just take the first 5 actually with Webb and just say, all right, outdo Yamamoto for 5 innings.
Yeah.
and not even worried with the bullpen. Even with yesterday's blow-up in Colorado, Giants bullpen still one of the 3 best in Major League Baseball so far this year. All right, let's go to Baltimore. Boy, what a matchup this is. Even though the Angels, I can't really rag on the Angels now. They're playing better. It's Kahanowitz against Morton. Boy, Charlie Morton's $1.80. I know Kahanowitz has been the definition of average this year, but Charlie Morton's $1.80. It would only be a look to the Angels here at plus 160. You can get as good as plus 170 in the market here on this game. So that's what I would do. Boy, that is a awfully, awfully big price on Charlie Morton at this point in his career.
I do think Charlie Morton deserves to be this. He is that much better of a pitcher, even though I know, like you said, in this part of his career, but still I do not trust Jack on the other side. And both of these offenses, I agree with that high total, and I trust the Angels offense more than I do the Orioles, that's for sure. So this is a complete stay away from me because I'm not going to jump in there at the plus 150 with Jack on the mound, but I can't fault you either.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie Morton's numbers are just disgusting this year. His WAR is -1. So, Alex, you and I have better WARs than Charlie Morton this year. His FIP, which is I give him credit. His FIP is lower than the ERA, but the ERA is 6.6. His FIP is still 5.24, which is horrible. I mean, all these numbers are just so ugly on Morton. And again, Koana's, I mean, you see him on your screen. Koana's, numbers are awful as well. Boy, what was the total on this again?
It's 10.5.
Yeah, that's probably good. Still at 10.5 with these pitchers. But boy, Charlie Morton at $1.80 is so much at this point in his career. All right, we go to Boston next. Yankees and Red Sox renew for the second time in 10 days. And it's about all lefties. It's Crochet on the Red Sox side. And Ryan Yarbrough has pitched surprisingly well for the Yankees since going into the rotation. Goes for New York. 8.5 at Fenway, $1.40 on the Red Sox. Kind of feels like this is a game that if you're going to back Boston, I can't really hate it, even though, again, that's a nice price on New York on the other side. But Crochet, $1.40 at home, yeah, that feels about good to me. It would only be a look to Boston, but I'm probably going to steer clear in the end.
You're right. I think that number is just right here, too. So Red Sox have not seen Yarbrough, but on the other side, Crochet just got hit pretty bad from the Yankees. 6 innings pitched, though, 5 earned runs, though, in that start. Gave up 1 home run, 9 strikeouts to just 1 walk. So I lean to Boston here. I do think he'll have a better outing, especially coming off of that one, and really want to prove himself here. But that Yankees offense, I said it all last series. I did not want to go up against them. Both of these teams are really hitting well right now. So I don't know. It might be a little bit of a lean to the over even at 8.5. I think we could get more than that from these two.
The weather in Boston tonight. Again, it'll be a nice 71 degrees at first pitch. Wind going right to left. Yeah, it's negligible on the weather. It's pretty neutral, all things considered, on this one tonight. All right, let's go to Texas next. Future trade bait, Adrian Hauser on the bump for the White Sox. Hauser picked him up for nothing, the White Sox, and going to be able to get an asset at the trade deadline. Hauser's 4 starts. He's been great. He's gone 6 innings in all 4 of them. He's given up 4 earned runs in 4 starts. For a guy who did not pitch in the majors at all after getting DFA'd by the Mets last year in July, he's been really, really good. And today he's against unknown on the Texas side right now. $1.80 on Texas for the game, $1.55 for the first 5. Look, Hauser at some point you would imagine is going to have a stink bomb show up. What he's doing is not sustainable for the way he has pitched in his career. But against the Texas lineup that, yes, again put up 16 runs in their last game in Minnesota, so 216 spots this week. I don't know, Alex. This would probably only be a look to Hauser in the first 5 because you don't want to deal with the White Sox bullpen. But is plus 135 good enough to justify that on Adrian Hauser today? That is the big question.
I think it is. I really do. I think the Rangers should be about minus 140 for the full game, but you're right, definitely bullpen advantage to Texas there. So I would only want to bet first 5. I was kind of looking at first 5 taking that half a run, but it's minus 105. So kind of like you were saying with the Giants here, I think I'd rather just take a shot with the White Sox. And you're right, he did have one bad game against Baltimore, but besides that, I mean, I love the fact that he has gone 6 innings in every single one of his 4 starts. And on the other side, I mean, this Rangers team, they dropped Dunning and now picked him back up again. So that doesn't give me much hope there for him. And the White Sox, I mean, they have been competitive at least. So yeah, it would only be first 5 on Chicago here.
White Sox, again, just a traditional bad team this year as opposed to the historically bad team they were a year ago. But they still have the worst record in the American League entering today's action. All right, we go to Kansas City next. I think the Royals are just thrilled to not see the Yankees anymore. They 0-6 and got dominated in the process. Michael Wacha goes tonight against the Athletics. It'll be Luis Severino on the other side for the A's. We have talked about home road splits with Sevy all year long.
Yes.
Just his hated pitching in that ballpark in West Sacramento. Sevy on the road, 31 innings, it's 5 starts, has given up 3 earned runs in 31 innings. And has given up less than a base runner per innings as well. He has been great away from Sutter Health Park. I would be on Sevy in the first 5 today at plus 130. I'd also look at the A's on the full game. I know the A's have just completely melted down over the last month after, again, they were only a game out of first place in early May, and now they're 13 behind Houston. But going against KC, who just, I think a lot of these American League teams are just so average. Kansas City, Cleveland, Seattle, right now when they're not hitting, the Red Sox, they're all so average. And Kansas City's just in that mix. They're probably going to win about 78 to 83 games. That's average. I'll take the A's here today, plus 130 first 5 and plus 140 for the game.
It's really just their bullpen, right? They find ways to lose games. Did they have 1-run losses to the Angels in all 3 of those in their last series?
The homeless A's had 2 1-run losses. The first one was 7-4.
Okay. I completely agree with you. I don't hate the fact that you're going to take the Athletics first 5. I'm just going to go under that 4 between these two because you're right. Severino much better on the road, and then Michael Wacha much better at home. So we get the best from both pitchers here. I think they can hold down these offenses for us. Their median numbers, I mean, both of them going at least 5 2/3 and then 1 earned run home and away for these two, Severino and Wacha. So under, that is definitely going to make the board. Definitely betting that under 4 for me in this one.
Up next, we go to Houston. Paddock and Gordon, your pitching matchup for the Twins and the Stros. It's minus 15 on the Houston side. Total of 8. This number has not moved at all, Alex. This has been stagnant since the lines opened on this game last night. Stros entered today in first place in the West. Twins, if the playoffs started today, would be the 3rd wild card in the American League.
I think I'd take a shot with the Twins here and Chris Paddock. I think this number is just a little bit too much on the Stros, getting that even money on the other side. I mean, I actually think the Twins should be the favorite in this one. Now, I know Houston does have the bullpen advantage, but starting pitcher-wise, it's definitely Paddock. So, yeah, I like the Twins. Better offensive numbers in the last 7 as well. Taking Minnesota. That found another one there, but I'm going full game. I'm going to take a shot there with that even money.
Going to Seattle next. Undecided for the Mariners. It'll be Williams on the other side for Cleveland. Minus 15 on the M's. Even on the guards. That's a 15-cent move from the opener. Total of 7. Again, we just talked about the Mariners are underwater. Mariners were in complete command, and you know what? The same sort of thing that has happened to them through the years. The inconsistent offense has done them in, and the fact that their pitching is not held up as well has created a disaster to begin the month of June. Since the calendar has turned to June 1st, they've only won twice.
Yep.
They were swept in Arizona. They were swept at home by Baltimore. They're 2-8. Just not good enough to begin this month for the Seattle Mariners, Alex.
No, and without knowing who is going here, I really can't do anything with this game. Their numbers don't even look that bad offensively, but you're right. Looking at those losses, I mean, they put up 2, 3, 4, 3 in a win against the Angels. A little bit more competitive against the Angels, I guess, 6 and 4 in those 2 losses, but I've got nothing here in this one. I really don't trust either offense right now.
Going to Philly. Saw this matchup not too long ago, less than 10 days ago. Blue Jays took the series on the Phillies north of the border. Now would they do it again in Philly? It's Gausman and Suarez. Rangers minus 15 at home. They've betting Gausman 10 cents from plus 10 to even on Toronto now. Total of 8 at Citizens Bank. Alex, I would only look to the first 5 under in this game at 4, but tread carefully in that ballpark as always.
I don't hate that at all, but I don't know if they're betting Gausman or if they're betting the Toronto Bats, because the Blue Jays coming off a sweep for them. I mean, they have looked really good, but I do like the Phillies. I like Ranger Suarez. I mean, since he has come back in his 43 and 1/3 innings pitched, 39 strikeouts, 11 walks, 1.13 whip for him. I think he's been very good. And median numbers are even more impressive. 6 2/3. 1 earned run on 6 hits, though. 6 strikeouts to 1 walk. I like the Phillies. I'd probably go Phillies first 5, though, and just not even worry about the bullpens here.
You would be surprised. People that are not following this as intently as we are, Blue Jays are only a game worse than Philly. I don't know. Blue Jays have very methodically and quietly gone on this run here where, hey, 8 games over 500. 38 and 30. They're only 3.5 behind the Yankees in the American League East. They're in the thick of this right
11
now.
11-1, I believe, to win that division before the season started. I remember us 3 talking about it, and yeah, they were quite the underdog.
I don't see them winning the division, but hey, look, get into the postseason. We know the deal. Just make the dance in this new format. Up until last year, you'd had 6 seeds in the National League out of there for the first 2 years in this 6-team playoff on each side. All right, we go to Detroit next. Reds and Tigers. Tigers' best record in the AL. Herter and Martinez here, so going to be a short bullpen start, and then we'll expand it out for Detroit here. Minus 30 on the Tigers at home at Comerica with a total of 8, Alex.
Man, I'll be quick on this one. I think those numbers are just right. Tigers minus 130 at home, total 8. I agree with both of those. Martinez and Montero getting the start here. Both of them are pretty average and have the exact same median numbers coming into this one. Now, the Reds have been a little bit better at the plate in the last 7, but I don't trust them. They've just been inconsistent all year. Tigers have been the more consistent team. So this is an easy pass for me here.
Last one on the board. We go to New York. The Mets have won 6 in a row. They'll take on the Rays, who cooled off a little bit after a hot streak of their own. They're still right now in the playoffs entering today, but again, almost 90 games left for all these teams. It's Clay Holmes and Taj Bradley at City tonight. Mets minus 75. Total of 8 in this one, Alex. I seem steep on the price on Holmes here tonight at minus 175.
I think it's just about right. Honestly, Jeff, I was pretty shocked to see he was 7-3. I don't even remember him pitching that many games. Have not been following him too much. I was going to rely on you for this one. But you are correct. Looking at their offensive numbers, I mean, the Rays have definitely cooled down, and the Mets might be have the best offensive numbers. They do in the last 7, 288 batting average, 369 on base percentage, and a 162 WRC plus. Add in that winning streak and those offensive numbers, that instead of being too high, that number might be too short here on the Mets at home.
The whole rotation for the Mets, best ERA for the starting rotation in baseball, and they've done it with really only one truly high-end pitcher, and that pitcher is going on the IL later today with Senga with that hamstring injury he suffered leaping for a throw yesterday. So right now, 75. Holmes has been great, and they all been pitched great in that rotation. Shockingly enough, as we've talked about with David Peterson, who we'll see later this weekend as well. All right, that's the baseball card on the professional side. Alex, College World Series begins today. If you're looking for Kenny's underdog picks, I'll make it easy for you. He picked every underdog in the first game except for LSU. So that's Arizona, which that game starts in 25 minutes against Coastal Carolina. Murray State tomorrow. And
the Cardinals.
The Cardinals of Louisville against Oregon State. Alex, not the official whiteboard here, but here's Kenny's totals for today if you want to let everyone know what he's doing totals-wise these three of these 4 games.
So one of the main reasons why he really likes Louisville is because he does like the pitcher going today. He likes the under in Louisville and Oregon State. There might be a 10. Nope, it is down to 9.5 almost everywhere. I knew I shouldn't have done green. It is hard to see this. Tomorrow, Murray State, UCLA. We've talked about Murray State, the Cinderella story. Very good offensively, not necessarily on the mound. So that's an overplay. Over 11 is the correct number there. And then he also talked about this, LSU, Arkansas. Those are going to be the 2 best pitchers going in this first round. So it's an under 9.5 for that game.
There you go. That's what we got totals-wise, 3 of 4. So skipping on Coastal Carolina and Arizona is the only total skipping. Kenny's got action on all 4 games going in Omaha. All right. We're going to take a break. When we get back, Chris Andrews joins us. Thoughts on Game 4 tonight in Indianapolis, his thoughts on the Stanley Cup Final, and much more. Also, Vegas Manny will join us in about 15 minutes from now, right here, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style Paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, 777s, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust, footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
Welcome back at Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, and Chris Andrews is here.
What's going on?
How are you?
Yeah, good.
Good. I was trying to. We didn't move the Barbary Coast back over.
Oh, okay.
We'll do.
I might have a new jersey.
What do you got?
Tony Dorsett.
Is it a Pitt jersey?
I don't know because one of the ladies in accounting, she says, I got this Tony Dorsett jersey. I don't know what to do with it. I says, well, bring it in. We'll find a spot for it. So I wasn't sure.
If it's a Pittsburgh one, that's...
Well, I don't like Pitt or the Cowboys.
I know you really
2.
don't like the Cowboys. Penn State, Pitt. We need to see those teams play more. We'll just go with that. Chris, I want to start with hockey first, and then we'll move into tonight's NBA game because what we saw last night was outrageous. It just end of the first period. I texted Ryan McCormick. Legitimately texted him. It's pretty amazing. The NBA Finals are going to go longer than the Stanley Cup Finals, and then not even 40 minutes later, I said, "What kind of idiot has this type of take?"
Don't laugh. I was ready to switch to Jeopardy last night.
I was ready to go to HBO Max and stream something. For today. But look, Chris, that was an epic gut check.
Great
for Edmonton, and you're down 3-0. You look dead as dead after that horrible performance in Game 3. They changed the goalies, even though. Yeah. And look, and they said Boucher and Eddie O said it on the broadcast. They were surprised that Skinner got pulled, and I was as well. It was not his fault. 2 of the goals were power play goals. The third one was just an absurdly great play by Florida. But Edmonton answered. It was tied by the end of the second period.
Yeah.
The second latest goal. It's pretty amazing. The 2 latest game-tying goals in Stanley Cup final history of regulation have happened in this series. And the team managed to lose both of those games, no less.
How about all the Florida fans that left after Edmonton got? Reminds me of the Heat a couple years ago when before Ray Allen hit the shot. I mean, come on, stay to the end of the game. It's one goal. I mean, it's one goal.
Right.
But I got to tell you,
empty net.
The Oilers came out with a different bounce in their step in the second period. Now, I don't know if it was a goalie change or they had a power play coming up, but they definitely had a little more speed in their skating, and that's really been kind of Edmonton's game. They got the 2 superstars, of course, but I said earlier that I really thought Florida was a much more balanced team. I still think that, but like I said, we're talking about a goal here and there. Can really make a difference. And Draisaitl, he got awful lucky, bounced off the defenseman. But still, you got to get the puck towards the net, and, some things happen, But it was really a fantastic game. I really enjoyed the hell out of it.
I was actually driving, so I'm listening to a radio broadcast during that first intermission, and they said the exact same thing. They said that I'm just not seeing it from the Oilers tonight, especially Draisaitl. He looks frustrated. He doesn't look like he has the energy. And then when I got to a TV, watched the second period, I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. So, they really did turn it around. But they are getting a lot from, Evander Kane, Nurse, Corey Perry has been awesome.
Corey Perry, 40 years old.
This series,
So they are deeper than they were last year, that's for sure. But so is the Panthers. So I'm excited about this best of 3.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised though. We opened the series $1.15 after last night's game, and they laid it to us. So we're up to 20. Okay. I don't know. Maybe listen. I said before, I'm kind of rooting for Edmonton. I think it'd be good for a Canadian team to take home the cup. But I think I'd bet Florida in this spot.
At that price, I would only take Florida. Again, Alex knows what I said. I chickened out by not taking Edmonton before Game 4 in the series price. And you know what? For 20 minutes, it looked like a very smart
Looked like a genius move.
But, it's the ebbs and flows of this series just have already been absurd. Like, you have 3 overtime games in 4 games, which I'm not blowing smoke up McCormick here, but since 2013, that's the first time this has happened. Of course, that was a Blackhawk championship against Boston. But this is the emotional swings in this series. Again, we know it's a Stanley Cup final. We know it's going to be emotional one way or another. But to come back when you've played your 4 worst periods of the postseason, to be the first team in Stanley Cup final history to come back from 3-0, 3 goals down at the end of the first period to win the game. Teams were 37-0 in that circumstance, leading by 3 goals after 1 in Stanley Cup final history. I'm kind of with you. I think that I'm surprised that they're laying it with Edmonton, but boy, when you win a game like that really could change the tide pretty quickly.
Yeah, don't forget that one shot by Florida, and I forget who took it. Hit the crossbar. I mean,
and then the
we're
one
talking about
save
what,
by
a
Picker,
quarter
too.
of an inch. It goes in. Instead of bouncing out, it goes in. That's what I posted last night. Nothing's a game of inches like hockey, and I do believe it. And one guy said, "Well, how about baseball?" I said, you can make arguments for everybody, but to me, I mean, it's hockey because you're talking about, like I said, hit the crossbar. If it's an eighth of an inch difference, quarter inch maybe. This series now it's 3-1.
Was that Sam Bennett as well?
Was that Bennett? Boy, he's had a hell of a series.
Bennett.
Yeah,
He's had a hell of a series.
Oh, Bennett's your.
So he would have really been. He would have been
Well,
on.
would have been over. Would have been over.
Yeah.
The Conn Smythe. Bennett's still your betting favorite to win the Conn Smythe. And
I can
Florida's
see
the
why.
underdog.
Yeah.
And Florida's the underdog in the series
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Even though Draisaitl finally rightfully hopped McDavid in these Conn Smythe odds, might be Leon's trophy if Edmonton raises the cup. Again, it's been since '93 since the Canadian team has won the cup, with well documented at this point, 32 years. Chris, NBA-wise, I just want to ask you, with just the pricing on the game tonight and the way that everyone is betted, where Oklahoma City's up to 6 now here tonight on the road at Indiana. You've talked about it on the show that we just had the Pacers underrated the whole year, and here they are leading the NBA Finals after Game 3. Could Oklahoma City go there and win by 15 tonight? Yes, of course they could. We talked about it already before the series. Best spread team in at least the last 30 years at over 65% going into the series. But isn't this feel aggressive with this Indiana team, with the way they have played in this postseason, and getting 6 at home? I know it's a quote-unquote gotta have it for OKC, but if you're Indiana, you're in the position where, well, we win our 2 home games, we win the NBA championship at this point.
Yeah. Listen, first of all, our good friend Jeff Fogel has a great article that he posted. Did you read it today? About going through the analysis of really the whole series. And I think the Pacers have been greatly underrated. I talked about this, that I mentioned to my crew about 2 months ago, that this team was underrated. Now, I got to say, I never saw them getting this far. I thought they'd win a series, maybe 2. That first series, not that big of a surprise. But the second series now, ever since then, they've been an underdog. And they're consistently an underdog, even in this series. And, sometimes there's some aberrations, like what OKC win the one game by a ton.
Yeah.
So if that skews some averages. And Fogel talks about that, where you're looking at averages or medians. And medians are a lot harder to analyze, but they're probably more effective in your analysis of point spreads. I think this number's too high, but Jeff, as I'm saying that, they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know they
so
are.
what can I tell you? My business is as a bookmaker. I'm not, picking sides. That's your job. You guys do that. But I'm a bookmaker. But I do think this number's too high. I thought when we opened at 5, I thought it was a legit number. Even then, I thought, well, maybe a shade high, but it is such a must-win for OKC, and OKC has been money, all year. Jeff, you said it. They've been I think they're the top ATS team in the league.
They're the best ATS team in the last 30 years.
Yeah, so it's not odd to like them in this spot. But boy, I'll tell you what, this Pacer team, I think that's a really well-balanced team. Halliburton gets a lot of the PR, but they always get, other guys to contribute. And the coach has done a great job. And, all of a sudden guys are waking up to how good a coach Carlisle is. Yeah. And he really is. And I think he had a great plan going in, in that first game against the Knicks. So we're going back a little ways.
Going one series back.
If you remember back, Knicks had a big lead in that game, blew it. I called my guys to say, listen, when we readjust the price, don't get carried away, because Indiana has a way of wearing some teams down. Even though they might lose game 1, this series is far from over. Of course, they didn't even lose game 1, so they wound up wearing out the Knicks in the fourth quarter. And I think that Carlisle has that kind of a plan in mind, I don't think his team is as good as OKC, but I think we're talking about just a few games. And Jeff, like you said, if they could hold serve on their 2 home games, they're going to be the NBA champions.
Again, there were some insane prices on Indiana out there throughout the year. Not quite triple digits, but still.
We were way up there.
75.
I think we had 75, and that's when I told my crew, I said, we better lower these guys. I think they got a legit shot.
Yeah, it had been tonight. I think it's too many points, but Alex, you and I have talked about the NBA, how I've steered away from betting the NBA playoffs because it just is, even though the zigzag has been good in this series.
It has.
Let me throw out one more
please.
thing. So we readjusted the prices. I wanted my price on OKC to be lower than anybody. It was like $2.10, $2.20. Well, I opened at $2. Well, they laid me the $2. They laid me the $2.10, and they're even laying me the $2.20. So there's. I mean, I'm talking about sharp bettors. So there's some very different opinions out there on just how good OKC is, and I don't know. I still think they have the Pacers kind of underrated. I don't think I'd lay any more than $2, for this series. I don't think I would.
And the look aheads too for Game 5 in Oklahoma City for some books that had it out already, which again a little aggressive, but regardless, it was 12, which would be the highest number.
It's pretty high to me.
The highest number of any game in this series. Which look, if you're going to give me a dozen with Indiana, I'm going to take it, and if you beat me, so be it.
I find the total pretty interesting here. They're
up 2.5 points again.
Right, up 2.5 points. But that was OKC's worst defensive effort, I think, in the whole postseason. So you got to imagine that they're going to make some adjustments. And so I think that is a little bit high there.
We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
We're going to bring Vegas Maddie in. We're going to check in with what's going on contest-wise, how signups are going in the early goings. For Maddie and company, and Chris, we'll have you hang around.
I'll stick around.
We'll have the whiteboard as well. Also, the trivia questions in the bottom if you have not answered it already as well. They're right here, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust: footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Welcome back in. It is Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Chris Andrews. Happy to be with you on a Friday. It's not too spooky on Friday the 13th, right, guys? Not too spooky. You're not a...
No.
I know.
I didn't even notice.
It's not a $50 bill, so it's okay.
I'll take a case of those, too, if you want to.
Look, I will, too, but... Alex will ship it right back in for two 20s and a $10 bill right away. That to be the case. Joining us now remotely, our good friend, of course, every Friday, brought to you by Vegas Maddie and our good friends over at footballcontest.com. Maddie, on the road today with the new logo and all. Maddie, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, as usual, guys. Appreciate it. Handled the first 3 weeks of signups, and Tony's taken over now. She's back from her little break, and just enjoying 67-degree weather in Duck Creek Village, Utah right now.
There we go. That's it's nice and cool. Only about close to 35 degrees cooler there than here. What will be the high today in Vegas? But Maddie, let's just start again. We talked about it last time when you were with us. A whole new collection of contests, both at Circa and at Westgate and across town. But right now, how are the signups going over at Circa? With of course the contests all ready to go there with Derek Stevens and company.
Yeah, so Circa Million, they're off to a flying start. They got 27 entries as of this morning. Still a $5.733 million overlay. We'll keep talking about that for a few weeks before it gets a little closer. But I mean, they're doing well. The Survivor contest has almost three times as many entries, though, 756 entries. Overlay with the $15 million guaranteed, and that is $14.244 million. So, but I feel like those are record numbers already. It sounds like big overlays, but I mean, you're talking June 13th. We got like almost 2 months to go, right? So it's a lot of time left, or over 2 months, about almost, I'm got to do the math and figure that out, but there's plenty of time to get out here to sign up. You know, there's 85% of the signups happen, like, I feel like the last 3 or 4 weeks. So those numbers will get smashed this year, I think.
Curious, Maddie, you know I love the college contest. How is John Murray and companies going over there with Westgate?
Yeah, so they haven't started signups yet. They start on July 1st. But I do think they have a good concept it's a 14-week contest. It's going to be $500 per entry and a 10 entry limit. So it actually starts in week 1 of the college football season. So it'll be a week ahead of where the NFL contests start, which I think is really cool too. Because normally, like the Golden Nugget contest and when William Hill had a college contest, they would sync up with the start of the NFL season. So you're actually getting that first week of college football, not week 0, but week 1. And I think it's going to be a huge hit over there. Something that, especially with Golden Nugget not doing their contest this year, they should, I think, get over 1,000 entries. I mean, I think that's got to be the goal, especially with the low entry fee. I'm hoping they get it over 1,000. I think that would be awesome.
That is good to know, too, that it is a week before NFL. So people who do want to use your services need to get out here ASAP. But, of course, July 1st. Thank you for that, too, for the sign-up date.
Yep.
Chris, you have anything for Maddie?
No, I just want to hear Maddie and talking about the contests. And I'm sure I'll be in a couple of them with some partnerships. And, I hope it goes well for everybody.
Well, and then, Maddie, as we talked about, there have been people asking for the college contest now. Since, again, the Hill contest kind of fell by the wayside, disappeared permanently. But, again, it's only a $500 buy, which I will say, I think there is something to be said for going in. I know some sharper bettors that are listening might get mad at me for saying this, but there's something to be said about going for a smaller buy-in contest. And I don't think it'll be overly inundated either. I think 1,000 sounds about right. There's a reason that, look, Alex is a winner of Last Man Standing. There's a reason that Last Man Standing at Stations is a beloved contest in town. It's $100 for the college. It's $100 for the NFL. $200 is a drop in the bucket for most of us during football season. And it's just nice to have the action to sweat. And I think that would go the same for a $500 contest. And quite frankly, I'd love to see one of these books do it for the NFL as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. My partner Tony and I, we sat down with John Murray and Ray over at the Westgate around Super Bowl time, and we kind of talked through the contest ideas. And we really, for the second year in a row, we really pitched the college contest hard. We talked to Jay Cornegay about it previously, and I think it was just kind of trying to figure out the right price point. I mean, we thought, hey, if you have $1,000 entry fee, I think you'll do fine too. But the $500 I think is even better, just because you can get in more entries. Guys want to. It's going to be 7 picks a week. But yeah, you can do multiple entries in there. So you could do 2 for $1,000, and then or more. And it's up to 10 entries, like I said. And Westgate is they're letting you max out the entries in every contest this year. They're doing Super Contest is also going to be a 10 entry limit, and they're raising the entry fee on that to $1,500, which is kind of the old school price that they had until Circa came in and charged $1,000, undercut them a little bit. But they're trying to get the prize pool up in that one too, and I think that's important as well, because the Super Contest winner has the prize money has gone down each of the last couple of years, and even if they get 1,000 entries in that at $1,500 a piece, it's going to be more than they had last year. Last year they had 1,100 entries in there at 1,000 a piece, and the winner, I think, because we had the winner the last 2 years, and it went from like a little over 200,000 down to 170,000 to win that contest. And I mean, that's still a very prestigious contest, and to have that be the win for 18 weeks of hard work, it's kind of disappointing. I hate to say it. So hopefully that $1,500 entry fee will get the prize pool back up kind of where it should be, where it's at least over $200,000 for the winner. And then they're also doing a $5,000 survivor contest. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, because as you guys know, that they have the Grandissimo at Circa now, which is $100,000. And they still are sitting on one entry in that one. But the $5,000 one is kind of a nice intermediate contest between the $1,000 entry of Circa Survivor and then the big one, obviously, because they're not going to have any special weeks in that contest. It's just going to be a straight 18-week contest. You get knocked out, you're done. But I think they're just trying to do some creative stuff to bring more people in there, and hopefully it works out for them.
Little humble brag there, Maddie, but you had the last 2 winners. How many have you had now total for you and Tony? Yeah, that's awesome. So how many?
we had our guy who finished second in the Circa Million came out last weekend, and I got to see him. He was path to victory. He finished a half a point away from winning the $1 million, but he still won $500,000. And that was a pretty great last week 18. I think he came back. He was like outside the top 5 going into week 18 last year, or like right around top 5. So he actually jumped a few people to win that. So he was ecstatic. He acted like he won the $1 million, and he was extra excited to sign up again this year to go for that blue blazer that Derek has given out to the winner.
It's tough to do.
Sure is.
Everything's at footballcontest.com. Tell everybody what they can find on your new website that you just redid.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, we try to keep it short and sweet with everything. All the contests that we proxy for are on the website. We do all of the Westgate contests, which kick off on July 1st, the Circa contests that are currently underway. Tony, my partner, is going to be down there every day doing signups. We've got some extra people helping us out to try to ramp up the entries for both us and for the casinos. And you just find out our proxy fees. We can, if you're doing a ton of entries into the contest, you can contact us. We'll give you a bulk discount as well. So we're willing to work with you. We really want to try to get people in here and make sure that these contests have the best year yet. And we have the best year yet.
Vegas_Maddie on Twitter, footballcontest.com to sign up for the proxy.
One more thing I just want to throw out there. Yeah, Tony is running our Instagram account now. So she's ramped up some videos on there as well. So that's at Football Contest Proxy. If you go on Instagram, you can follow us on there and can learn a little bit more about the contest and kind of what we have going on as well.
It's crazy to say June 13th, but I've already seen some fantasy football drafts and everything.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun last year. I'm sure you'll have more information throughout the summer, but do you plan on doing a Beat Vegas Maddie again?
I'm hoping to, yeah. We're just trying to work out some details with Full-Time Fantasy. They did a great job last year, but I think, I think tentatively I have a draft set up for August 23rd, which is the weekend of the big Circa football contest weekend there. So I'm going to be doing it outside, hopefully by Stadium Swim again around 6 p.m. But yeah, I don't have all the details yet, but I'm sure I'll pitch it next time.
So keep following the social media, visit the website. We'll keep everybody up
at
to date
Football Contest on X as well.
Maddie, thank you for joining us, and enjoy the cool weather of Utah.
Thanks, I will for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Vegas Maddie, everyone. Footballcontest.com for the best proxy service in the business for your football contest needs this fall. All right, before we go here today, all right, Chris Andrews, you asked what the trivia question was, and here you go. Which 3 NHL franchises all won Stanley Cup championships on their home ice on June 13th, which happened to be a Game 5? So,
okay, I'm going to go with the Montreal Canadiens.
There was only, I'll tell you this. It's not Montreal. There was one original 6. There's one expansion era team, and then there is one recent addition to the NHL that did this.
Ooh, okay. So, evidently it's not the Canadiens.
It is not.
I'm going to go with the Blackhawks, the Penguins, and a recent addition. I'll say the Vegas Knights.
All right, that's right. The Golden Knights did it. The Cup 2 years ago was on the 13th, of course, winning that series 4-1. The other two, 2002 Detroit Red Wings.
Ooh, okay.
Over Carolina. That was their 10th Cup. And 2014, the Los Angeles Kings, winning their second Cup in 3 years against the New York Rangers. That was, and also had a Golden Knight connection because that was Alec Martinez with the game winner in double overtime to win the second Cup in 3 years. You know, when the Kings won that first Cup in 2012, I remember so many people basically saying that hell had frozen over, that the Kings had won a Cup because of just, again, the lack of success that franchise had had. Only the years with Gretzky, and that was it, basically.
I remember the Rogie Vachon days.
Yeah, I mean, but Kings, of course, won 2 and 3, Knights with theirs, and then the Red Wings. Boy, it is so strange to think, because the Red Wings legitimately, for the first 24 years of my life, made the playoffs every single year, and now are an afterthought in this league. Just completely
Well, they were
different.
the first team to really embrace all the Russians coming in. You know, they were the first team, and that's the one thing. You know, I've been watching hockey, longer than you guys, evidently. But when I was a kid, it was almost all Canadian players, and it was great. The Canadians are great. Then we started getting a few Americans. Then when the Russians came in, and then the Swedes, Dreisaitl's from Germany.
Yep.
It's really, how many Finns are in the league. So the level of play is really elevated. And I can remember when I first got here. So 2016, got to the South Point. I had to fight with my supervisors every night to get hockey on the TV. And I don't mean the big screens. I mean just any of the little ones up there. Oh, nobody wants to watch. Then all of a sudden the Knights came in. No, everybody loves hockey. I got everybody wearing hockey jerseys. Not me doing it, but people wear hockey jerseys and everything else. And, the game has grown, well, certainly here in Vegas, and I think it's grown internationally. And, the level of play is just fantastic.
By the way, Nick got the trivia question right. So
Really?
Nick and JR are battling it out so far in the month of June in the trivia question. There you go. I think we're tied now. I think we're tied at 3 apiece, right? Or
Are
4
they?
apiece. 4 apiece for the two of them here in the month.
And then we have 2 other, Dean Hilt and somebody else with 1.
I forget who. It was a new winner yesterday. Who was the new winner yesterday?
So long ago.
There you go. Mr. Hampton yesterday. That's right. All right. Whiteboard, I should say, today for... Well, we already had the
That's got 2 boards.
Yeah, that's the Kenny under and overboard for the College World Series. But Alex, what do we got on your board here today? Friday the 13th. Let's make it not spooky here.
Oh, great. And I had a good day yesterday. So that is why I even wrote on here half unit, because they're kind of different plays. I've got some plus money on here. I'm going with the Pirates and Paul Skeens. Full game, -105. I just think that is too cheap here. With one of the best pitchers in the league. I'm going Giants and Dodgers. Speaking of best pitchers in the league, Yamamoto, Logan Webb going first 5 under, 3.5. That is +105. A's and Royals, I'm going first 5 under 2, under 4 here for these two. Both pitchers better home and away splits. And then I'm going Phillies first 5 run line. So minus half a run +125.
I am following your dad on the Louisville Cardinals tonight. Up to +175. against Oregon State. That price, like your dad said, it and just thought it was too high. And the best lineup in Omaha, according to Kenny White, is the Louisville Cardinals. So we'll take Louisville tonight at plus 175. By the way, they're underway in Coastal Carolina and Arizona. That was the one without a total on the board. Kenny was on the Wildcats of Arizona yesterday. So that is something to keep in mind if you want some in-game numbers. And then I'm going to be on the San Francisco Giants in the first 5 with Logan Webb. If Yamamoto dominates, so be it. But I'll be on the Giants in the first 5 tonight. Chris, enjoy your weekend.
Yeah.
Enjoy the U.S. Open as well. Sam Burns had one of the all-time rounds today.
What was it, 5 under?
65.
How can you shoot 5 under on this course?
65.
I think Drew Dog posted the pictures I gave him, too, that was there last week. And, boy, you just saw some of the guys hitting out of the rough.
Insane.
I mean, how can you shoot 65?
65.
Unbelievable.
He's tied for the lead right now.
Barry Phillips gave us Sam Burns, too, as a sleeper, didn't he? I think he did.
Was it Burns or was it? Yeah, I guess it was.
No,
Burns,
he gave us Sam Burns as a sleeper.
Confusing him with another American, but JJ Spahn, who had the great round yesterday, is now one over through 3. I have a feeling he's not even going to be in the top 5 by the end of the day, but that's a different discussion for the weekend. But
and Ben Griffin making his way up
Ben
too.
Griffin,
He gave us him too.
Ben Griffin 1 under through 2.
Jerry gave him Ben Griffin.
Yeah, Ben Griffin was a popular one this week down the board. It's 70-1, I believe. Ben Griffin closed.
I think that's about what we had Sam
Burns, 75,
Burns,
right?
Yeah. 70, 75, something like that, yeah.
Alex, good luck to you as well. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Good luck to everyone out there. Thanks for watching us this week, as always.
Well, you really enjoy the weekend and your birthday.
Yeah, thank you. A few days from now, we'll be have a good time. I'll see you guys at the ballpark, by the way, tomorrow, Alex, for some bees and aviators.
Yes.
Get hyped for that. Ryan McCormick, Vince, Drew Dog, Ann, and Sean, Jerry as well. Thank you guys as well. We'll see you on Monday. It's Sports by the Book right here, South Point Studio.